If you guys want a chance to win some controller grips for your controllers, courtesy of Blizzard Grips, comment down below and subscribe to the channel for a chance to win some grips. By the way, the support has been unreal on these videos. Don't forget, if you want me to create a thumbnail for you, comment down below and make sure you subscribe so you know when it's going to be released. For the first thumbnail, you want to make sure you got these settings right here. Now I'm going to go and grab the pictures. I'll grab this competitive rank picture here, and then I also get a background for this. I'll choose this one. It's clearly got two cars and it's got enough space for my face. So importing this, it's a lot clearer than the other picture, as you can see. Now you want to pen around the car. This is the longest process out of everything. You want to make the selection and you want to click Control X, Control Shift V. Now once you've done this, it'll put it on a separate layer. Now this car is done. This will take ages, guys, so just take your time. Now I'm adding a white stroke onto this. I'm going to put it around 4, and then I'm going to pen out the next car. I'm doing this because I want the cars to stand out longer than the actual background. I'm not going to go around the boost, and then you want to make the selection and put it on a separate layer. Now I'm going to also add another stroke around this, but before that I'm going to rename the layers just so it's a bit easier for me to refer to in the future. Now adding a stroke, I'm going to make this a little bit smaller, and then I'm going to blur the actual background now the cars are out. This is just so the cars are not blurry and the background is just blurry. I'm going to put the blur to 2 pixels so it's not really that blurry, but it will do. Then I'm going to go and put the competitive rank above the cars. This is just to add a bit of depth into the pictures. Now I think that actually does look pretty sick, to be fair. And then I'm going to import a picture of me. Now I'm going to cut out the top bit, as this is a screenshot from one of my videos. I'm going to cut out the bottom bit. Now once you've done that, you just want to resize it, get rid of the green background by using the magic wand tool. I end up just getting rid of the microphone by just erasing it with the E tool. And then I actually rotate it so it's facing the actual cars. Now once I've got rid of my mic, I am going to get rid of my actual chair once I've resized it a bit. This is just because I feel like it doesn't really fit into the picture and I just want my face. Now this is going to take a bit of time, but make sure it's precise because you don't want any like wobbly bits or cuts in it. Now I'm going to resize this just into that little space there, and I'm going to add a stroke around it. It's going to be quite thick, around 6, and you can see these little white dots. This is just where I've missed, so you're just going to erase this as it's a stroke to make it nice and neat. Now once I've done this, I'm going to mess with the vibrance. I'm going to go on saturation and increase the saturation a lot and increase the vibrance. This is just to give it a bit more colour and a bit more depth for the actual thumbnail. Once you've done that, I'm going to actually add a border. With this border, I just get a new layer, marquee tool, and inverse it so it's creating a black out layer and fill it with black. Now what here, I'll go on to gradient overlay. Now once you're on gradient overlay, it will have all these presets. I'll just click on one of the presets and that is the border done. Now here I'm just going to add some anime lines. It'll come out black like this. You just want to go to this drop down menu right here and you want to change it to screen. Definitely not overlay, as it'll make it look like that. You want to put it behind every single one of your objects apart from the background, and I'm going to lower the opacity of the anime lines just so it's not as vibrant as it was before. This is basically thumbnail 1. I'm just going to add a quick drop shadows to all my stuff, making sure it's nice and detailed so it adds a bit of depth to all my stuff. The drop shadows are really important as well, and the outer glows. Make sure your outer glow is set to black and not white as it was firstly. Now I'm going to do the same thing with my cars, just speeding this up a bit, guys. The cars are important as well, just because that adds like a motion blur effect sort of, and I'm just going to do a bit to this back one but not much. But this is basically the first thumbnail. Moving on to the second thumbnail, I'm going to create a document here again, same settings, and we're going to get the pictures on here again. I chose this background here as it's a goal, and I'm going to just distort it and place it. Why I distort it, it's because I want the goal to be coming on the left hand side. So here you can see me messing with it, so the goal's on the left hand side. Now I'm going to get this picture of a car and I'm just going to pen around it by using the pen tool. Now the more dots you use, the better it will be. Just remember that, guys, when you're going around your object, because you don't want it to be cut out like a square. Now make sure you're connecting all these dots. Once you've done it, you can see a little circle connecting it, and you want to make the selection, Control X, Control Shift V. When it doesn't work, a little top bar will approach like that, but you want to get it on a separate layer and put it there. Now as you can see, I kept the boost, but then I just cut off half of it just because it didn't really look very good. Placing this in the top corner, I just make it bigger and put like a quarter of it off the actual thumbnail. Now I'm going to add a stroke to this. It's going to be a white stroke. I want it to be pretty thick, around 6-7 pixels, just so this can be seen a bit more. I'm going to add a drop shadow to this car as well, angling it down. Make sure the angle is always pointing down towards the object. Now I've got this ball here from a different picture. I'm going to go and erase the background from this. This can take a bit of time depending on how good you want it to look. I just do it the long way by getting the eraser and going around it. Obviously, I'm going to add a stroke to this as well. It's going to be a white stroke. The pixel is going to be big as well, so the same size as the car. Now, as you can see, it's got white bits around it, like white balls around it. So I'm going to make it look a bit more neater, like a bit more like a circle. I'm just going to erase these just to make it a bit more smooth. Now, once I've done that, the stroke will look like that, and I'm going to make it small so it adds a bit of depth to it, so it looks like I'm a bit further away. Now I'm going to do arrows connecting me to the ball. Here, I'm just going to duplicate these arrows, duplicate it until I get to this point, the curve. Now I try and like curve it a bit, but it doesn't really work, so I just end up like rotating it just a bit like this and moving the ball. Now I'm just resizing them just to make it look a bit more neat. I'm going to add a drop shadow to all of these just to add a bit more depth to it. Here you can see I'm going around the goalposts. This is so the goal can have a stroke and a drop shadow around it to stick out a bit more. Remember, more dots the better it will be for you guys. Here I'm just going to go around the post and I'm going to connect it up at the bottom again. Once you've done this, you want to make the selection Control X, Control Shift V, and you want to put a stroke on it, a white stroke, making that a bit bigger. With the drop shadow, I'm just going to put a little tiny drop shadow and a little tiny outer glow just to make it a bit more stood out than the rest. Now I'm going to get a picture of the Rocket League logo off the internet. Now I couldn't really find one without the background, so I had to get rid of the background myself by going in all the letters and just using the quick selection tool to get all the letters and the logo to not have the background in. This took a bit of time, but it wasn't really a lot of time. That was out of my day. Now once I've done this, I'm going to get the logo, Control X, Control Shift V, and get rid of the background. I'm going to resize this, just put it in the bottom corner there, as you can see there, and then I'm going to add another background by creating a new layer, getting my marquee tool, inversing it at the top, filling it with black, then going onto the layer, clicking gradient overlay, clicking on this custom already made gradient as you can see, and then that is basically the thumbnail. So hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. It did take me quite a while to find the pictures for Rocket League, but I did end up actually enjoying creating these thumbnails. I did think that these thumbnails are probably the best thumbnails I've done for this series so far. If you guys agree, please like, comment and subscribe, it would mean a lot.